Thought, a show that starts with a simple premise and explores how different people view different subjects. The greatest philosophies, the most revolutionary changes, and the greatest inventions. And all of them started with just a thought.
Family, I got a treat for y'all. All the way live from DC, we got Ana and her homegirl Yogi G. So let me bring these young ladies on so y'all can get introduced to just a thought.
What's up, everybody? How's everyone doing? I guess we got to give it a minute so we can see people logging on. I guess we got to give it a minute. Lord. Think 5 seconds behind. Good evening. Mickey, you can see because we can't see. Can you say good evening to the people for us if you don't mind?
I'm putting them up on the screen as they come on.
Oh, okay, cool. Can you see that?
I can see it.
Okay, because I can't.
God's good. I still got a little bit of vision in these eyeballs. Hello, family. Good to see everybody on here. From the District of Columbia, we say, what's up?
Can you see the names?
It's going by so fast.
I'll tell y'all who it is. It's David B., Avis Hopkins, Queen Anifa, Mr. Thomas, and LaWanna Terry.
Oh, man. We got the family in.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
You got representation, especially LaWanna. I know LaWanna. And look at Taz from Detroit. LaWanna's from Flint. Trying to see a lot of people I don't know. I don't know if y'all remember me from before, but I am Ana from DC. Love some Flint. Love some 810 News Media Group. Can't wait to come back and visit, and I'll be doing that soon.
And I haven't been to Flint yet, but I've been following on the 810 News Media Group, and I have to say, I really enjoy the tenacity and fight that's happening. So I'm excited to be a part of the 810 family.
So we're going to give it a second, just put like 10 seconds to get some more people on.
As they say in church, come on in the room. We're going to wait for the room to fill up so we can touch and agree on this conversation today. It is a meet and greet. It is not anything formal. We will get more formal in our next episodes, we promise. But we just wanted to come into the room and tell you a little bit about us. And we talked about today being, what's the theme for today? Because we said it's just a thought. So the thought for today is one band, one sound. We're going to talk about how we can start doing some collective organizing and advocacy. And while we popped up on 810, coming from the District of Columbia, we unfortunately are living in ground zero. So, since we might be the first ones to go, we might as well just incentivize everybody else to speak up and use your voice.
Sitting in front of your pretty much two advocates. I personally do not use the word activist. That's a big word, and it's a lot that comes with that. But I know that advocacy is the one thing and the reason why we're here with Just a Thought. So pretty much today is going to be our introduction, who we are, what it is that we're want to get out there to be able to advocate, give some knowledge to, or just bring people together. It's just a thought. It's not a thing where we agree. We can agree to disagree. It's not an opinion. Sometimes we have opinions become emotional, but this thing is just a thought, and it's just a conversation we will have, and everyone can go in the chat, put their opinions, but we're going to do this with love, because this is what this is about, love, especially what we have going on now in the times that we're living. This is not going to be a political conversation of the Dems and the reps. It's not going to be a specific area. It could be anywhere because it's just a thought. So I'm going to push to the left to Yogi G to go ahead and start introducing herself a little bit. Let her show you tell her a little bit about who she is, and then I'll come back to me and we'll just double dutch.
All right, bet. Let me go to my notes. So I know that Flint and everybody else watching this A10 don't play around, especially when we talk about people who are foreign to the space. So I thought I'd just treat this like a speed dating session, so you can get to know me and make your decision if you want to hang out with us at 7 p.m. on Fridays or not. So let's see. What did I say? So I want you to know, on the professional side, I got 15 plus years of organizing and just going out here from different spaces nationwide, helping create collective voice. I am a storyteller, and so I do all things storyteller oriented, meaning that I help community members find their voice and amplify their voices. So that is my jam. Outside of that, personally, I'm a community enthusiast. I process trauma through humor, so I make a few jokes just to keep it sane. Let's see. I'm a former sinner and practicing saint, cursing saint. So, Mickey, I hope that you and Trevor got like a little censor button or something like that, because I don't know the rules of YouTube, but I don't want to make. I want to make sure we can keep going. Um, let's see. Anything else I want anybody to know? I'm a mom. Um, I might have a touch of ADHD, so if I get off topic, bear with me, pray for me. Um, Yeah, and so that's a little bit about me.
You forgot one thing.
What's that?
What are we? Both.
Black and brown.
Besides the black and brown, it's the thing we got in common.
Aries.
We are both Aries.
For those who believe in it, we know it's a touchy subject. Yeah. So I've often found, so I'm glad that Anna invited me to do this along with her, because often there are missing pieces in this thing called organizing. A lot of people want to be the spokesperson, but don't want to bring the mic back to the people to say what they got to say. And that's the only way that we're going to do this collective work, especially living in Trumptopia. So, yeah, once again, I'm excited and thank you for coming to our meet and greet. All right, Anna,
I got a question for you, ladies. But
go
it's
Yes.
really Yogi G. What is ground zero?
ahead.
Can you
And you
expound
ask.
Glad you asked.
That's the
So
right question.
I refer to our loving city of the District of Columbia, aka Washington D.C., as Ground Zero, because honestly, we have so many people that live in the District of Columbia. Anna and I were riding to the studio today, and I was just like, if we ever had an emergency, we're not getting out of here. We're too congested. So that's why I say Ground Zero. That means if Agent Orange does something to piss somebody off and they ready to set the whole world aflame, we are out of here. So it's ever more important for us to be able to just bring our voices to the mic and say what we got to say, because we ain't got nothing to lose. So that's what I refer to. Why I refer to DC as Ground Zero, Mickey. Thank you for asking.
I got you. I just wanted to know what that was. I'm
Okay.
out.
I mean, and feel free to ask. Every now and then I talk in slang, DC slang to be specific. So if I say something off the Richter, off the cuff, and you want to know what I mean, just
I
don't
got
hesitate to ask.
So another thing, well, some of y'all might not know me. My name is Anna. I live in DC. I've been in DC 30 plus years. I am a proud Gen X. Love to be Generation X. That means I am 49. Yes, I am 49 years old. And the whole purpose of this was, we sit here and we sit here and have these thoughts, right? But sometimes we don't talk about it. We throw these thoughts and they come very judgmental, and we kind of like separate with our tongue. And so the whole purpose of this was like, I had a thought in my head and I said, man, how can we come up with a way where we can talk, where we might see things differently, but it's just something thrown out there. It doesn't mean that it has to be solved or it has to be answered. It's just a thought. So today, of course, like I said, we're introductions. That is what we're doing today. We will have going forward, we will have subjects, different topics. Uh, we will stay away from the conversations that are very, how do you say that? I'm having a senior moment, very touchy, sensitive. So, for instance, I will not be talking about Flint, Michigan's water. That is a very touchy subject. So we will stay away from those conversations, but we will talk about environmental injustice as a thought because it affects all of us. But for this specific thought, it is just a thought. So the thought that I'm having today, right now, as I'm talking to you, is how am I going to get through this weekend? That is my thought. So I want to hear from y'all. If y'all could put in the chat how y'all going to get through this weekend, and then you could pitch off after that.
How are we going to get through this weekend? I already have forgot. And then you brought it back, and now I'm sad again. Because we, like I said, we live in D.C. and that nice little military parade, and people might scroll by on the internet or wherever you get your news and media. We have to look at it dead in our faces. It's been a thing to see those tanks roll in, and just also know that we got to probably fit the bill for the aftermath. That's the part. But we also in DC, a lot of people still call it Chocolate City. That is not the case. We are no longer Chocolate City. We're a Chocolate City in spirit. With that being said, we have a lot of immigrant families that we care a lot about and are a big part of our. That's right, Andrea. Me neither, girl. I'm in the four walls and the safety, but they can't come and get me. But we have a lot of things that are happening in our city directly that I know that some people feel like that if it's not happening in my backyard, why should it matter to me? It matters because what they'll do in one space, they'll definitely do in another. And so while I know not talking specifically to what's happening in Flint as we have an opinion as outsiders, we can discuss the different things that are happening that are similar between the nation's capital and what's happening in Flint. And that's what we're here to do, bring and bridge community. This is not us talking to you. We are coming to the people. So what you'll see is us sitting like this sometimes, having direct conversations. We'll have guests on here, panelists to talk about certain issues and their perspective. And then we're going to go out here in these streets because that's where we need to be. You know how they say for church, in order to reach the sinners, you got to go where the sinners are. Where said sinner likes to go to the streets and talk to the other ones so we can bring them to the podiums where the power happens. So that if you're wondering why Mickey has graced us with the opportunity to be on A10, this is why. We're looking to do the footwork per our backgrounds of being organizers and advocates here in the District of Columbia to make sure that we let people know that this is not an anomaly. We are dealing and living in this together. And also, this ain't the Matrix. This is real life.
So pass it to me. So let me put back on what I was thinking, because I'm telling you, when Yogi G puts it out there, it gets my wheels turning, and especially with me, premenopause. Lord have mercy, 49, them thoughts start to leave my head, but eventually I will get back. And so as the wheels are turning, I'm thinking about the images that you sent me earlier. And one of the images was saying no king. So I would love to hear what your idea is when you see the images of a no king, especially in the type of era that we're in right now. So Yogi G, can you help me to understand what you felt so I'm asking about this weekend, but I'm also asking you with the images you sent to me today where it said no king, because as you know, we're going to have the parade, but we're also going to have protests. And as you've seen around the whole world, you saw in LA, and you see in Chicago, and you see in New York and DC, I think we are all of sanctuary cities. And you're going to see protests. So when we're seeing protests, we're actually seeing that. We see it in real time. And we see literally the signs of no king. What do you see? What do you feel or see when you see the words no king?
Well, let's be clear. Our dear mayor, or Anna's mayor, not my mayor, I didn't vote for her. Her name is Muriel Bowser, but I like to call her King Cooper Bowser, has decided that she's down with us not being a sanctuary city. So that's troubling, number one. When I see people, the people, not just people, the people activating and hanging up signs and banners as a welcome to this military parade saying no king, I think about our Constitution. Y'all happen to catch me at a good time in life. I was decided to go back to school so that I can get these letters and degrees because they don't listen to me any other ways. I don't get no street cred being the ghetto scholar that I am. So now I got to throw some BAs and MAs behind my name so people will start listening. With that being said, I think personally it's just people utilizing a power that has been lost to us in a long time, which is your voice and finding space to exercise that. I think it's ever more evident that in the District of Columbia, we don't get down like that. Just because Agent Orange is in the beacon in the middle of our hood, don't mean we get down with how he feels about things rolling out. So it makes me proud to see that people are not operating in fear. They're saying it with their chest, standing 10 toes down, and saying, "Get out of here with that." That's how I feel about it. How does it make you feel?
Well, it brings back the very things that were taught to me as a kid, and I saw with my own eyes as a child growing up. Grew up in the 70s, but predominantly mostly in the 80s. And access to how we communicate started to change. Back then, when people communicated, it was just word of mouth, or you had a house phone that you would pick up. But today, because stuff is in real time, you have like media, podcasts, and stuff. So I'm not as, how do you say? It's not that I'm not concerned, but I am glad that God has allowed us to have the image or the reality in front of us immediately so people can get to us quickly. Just like Yogi G called this ground zero, it is. We are literally on a swamp, in my opinion, with potholes. Um, and if something was to happen, we will shut down because in DC, I don't know if anyone knows, we have the worst traffic. The city shuts down, our trains, our buses shut down. So with me, I live in the area which is closer to downtown. The walking is actually good. My fear is there, but the fact I feel in these times from before when I was growing up, we didn't know. We talked to each other and we had to listen to our grandmoms and our grandpas. I call them abuela, abuelo, to kind of understand what was going on. And the older generation told us, but we're living in times when we're all telling each other. It's no longer the older generation passing it down. I have a 15-year-old daughter that's constantly telling me something she's read. So my fear is there, but I'm so happy that we have communication the way we have it now. Uh, but I will say this: we're still not protected as Black and brown people. So that's where the fear comes in. They don't treat us the same exact way in situations. I don't know if y'all saw Senator Padilla was pretty much asked the question, said his name, it was taken out. So if you could see senators now being pushed out, what do you think is going to happen to us?
Now, when you say they don't treat us the same way, expound upon that a little bit.
Well, it doesn't mean that. Let me correct that. When I say they treat us different, it doesn't mean that our white brothers and sisters don't get treated bad either.
Okay.
So let me correct that. But what it does mean is that we tend, melanated people, people of color, tend to get treated differently. And that is historically, and that is literally truth. That is not no made up lie. That is something that is very truthful. If you have color, especially in my community, you feel it. We call it colorism, and you feel it. And so in these times, colorism is now fast. It's in real time. Back then, you only got it when you were around your family or around friends and you would get glimpse of sarcastic jokes. But we're in a time where it's fast. You see the chat can go off real quick and say, disagreeing with a person off the base of they don't like that person. But in my opinion, it's so fast with us black and brown people. Blacks have gotten it more worse than any other group. And I will never ever say that I can compare and say that my people have had it worse. But the reality is, how do I identify ourselves? So how do we identify ourselves? Some of us will say we're one race and we don't have no black in us. We're just brown people. But for me, I identify as having black because I know I have black in me. And when I say black, I'm talking about indigenous black. I'm talking about from the roots of Africa, streamed down right down my bloodline. So when I think of black and brown, society says for us to use the color. So for me, I see the same pain, but that does not mean that we all feel the pain the same way. So that's where I feel when the colorism comes in. That's why I say black and brown people feel it worse.
Word. Okay.
The darker the hue,
Yeah.
the more brighter, the more sweeter, and the more tastier it is, and the more juicier. But the reality is that people do not like beauty, and they don't like good, rich, good stuff. So they attack what is good. And people have changed. I have a black cat, right? And I'm not trying to use that. And people are like, why would you get a black cat? Why not? We have to stop thinking, not us. People have this ideology that things that are darker are danger, things that are darker uh, will hurt us, and it's not true. It's not true under no circumstances. Uh, but that's what we're living in today. When you see, I'll speak about I'm not an immigrant. I'm Puerto Rican, but with the immigration, who are they grabbing? Are they grabbing the lighter ones? Are they grabbing the darker ones? They're grabbing the darker ones.
I mean, at this point, if you go off the media, it look like they just grabbing everybody.
You're right about that. They are, but they have
grabbed. Not they just grabbing everybody.
Yes, they have grabbed the ones with more color, because the justification is saying you look like that, you're illegal.
So I like to just tie back into while we are before you today. We it's strength in numbers, right? Like, pardon me, if nobody knew, I'm a bit of you don't know me yet, but I like to say I'm a theater nerd, amongst other labels of nerd. And with that being said, it's the 10-year anniversary of Hamilton. Now, I know some people don't like Hamilton for whatever reason, but the reason I like it is that, one, I process through song and dance in my traditional melanin representation. And so it gives me American history, loose base American history, and jingles and jams. So I retain it. And I just have a better understanding of how we got here. Because let's be honest, when we were brought here on the ships a couple of decades ago as cattle and property, they didn't give us a brochure or a pamphlet telling us about how the Constitution was drafted. So some of us have to re-educate ourselves about it. And I was watching the show this morning, The Morning Bump. Shout out to Witnesses and Mickey, y'all doing y'all thing on 810 Morning Bump. And I appreciated the reminder that while we do operate in emotion, and draw power from collective trauma, at the end of the day, this is still a system. This is still a country that was built with a certain model at hand, and we have to adhere to the laws of the land. And in order for you to know what the laws of the land are, you have to educate yourself and press yourself outside the box. So if you're like me and you need a little jump start in like the ABCs and Sesame Street, do yourself a service and go check it out. It's free. It's currently hasn't been taken down by Trumptopia, so you still have time to educate your mind slightly about how this country, the USA, was drafted. Yeah. So I'd like to also just give a little moment to do a call to action to the people. Like I said, this is an interactive space. We're not just here to sit and talk to you. We're here to give an opportunity for us to talk collectively. And that could be either you can DM us, you can send your questions in advance, and we'll do our due diligence to find people to give you the answers. Or at some point, I think we might have a little call-in situation. I don't know, but I would like to know, how do we strengthen numbers? How do you think that we can start bridging the gap between generations? Because me and Anna were talking about it. She represents Gen X. I represent the millennials. I'm raising Gen Zers. Anna's raising Gen Zers. And I got a Gen Alpha. And we got to work on our communication. And sometimes Gen X and millennials, we not meeting where we need to be in order to even lead our youth. And we're finding that our youth are leading us in the background. So like I'll pose that as a community question if anybody want to put it in the chat while we're talking and things like that. For one band, one sound, how do we get our band in order? How do you think that we're going to be able to reach the different generations so that we can collectively fight? Yeah. All right, Anna.
She just said, I was trying to see. Mickey, you had anything from what she just said before I start talking?
No, I'm sitting back enjoying. I'm just looking at the comments and the people like the vibe y'all giving. And
Mickey said he already did his job this morning. He's trying to leave us in the lurch. He don't want to talk to us.
Oh no, I'm not trying to get Mickey to talk. I'm just trying to make sure
I'm right here.
He ain't getting in trouble on here. That's what I'm saying.
Nah, I'm right here. I'm loving y'all conversation, like how y'all talked about. I don't want to get it wrong. What word did y'all use? I don't want to say activist. I know Yogi G with the activist, and you said advocate, right?
Yeah, advocate.
Advocate, but I'm gonna
We
roll.
say we're advocates.
Organizers,
and advocates.
All of them have different roles. Yeah.
And I do love what Yogi G said. She like, how do we bridge the gap with the millennial? You know, because right now you can see. I know here you can kind of see where the youth fires. You know, because I'm 49. You got my age group, and you can you know me. Winters, we done fell out with everybody born in '69 and down. I'm just saying. But it is like it's something like that 69 and up, and then to the 70s. I want to say the 70s. It's like it's a disconnect even with us trying to connect. Like I say, even reaching out to the youth so they can kind of understand like that 30-some-year-old crowd, because you know each 7 years your body, your thinking pattern gonna change, because what you was thinking at 17 to you 24 is gonna be different. Then from 24 to 31, it's different. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you start looking at things different. Like, you know, I didn't never think I would be doing what I'm doing now from what I was doing. I always was around people, you know, far as with outstanding, I mean, just beautiful people I was around, giving you real game, as they would say. But you know, where I'm at now to what I was seeing then, I would have never thought my mind would be where I'm at now.
Yeah, I it's been a disconnect. Like I think what I've learned from speaking with my sons is that they're watching us, right? That's the normal order. And so if they seeing us arguing, bickering with each other, and then we come to them talking something, you know, we gotta be UNITY and fight the man together. They like, we don't believe it. And to be honest, if they don't believe it, we know in our hearts we don't believe it either. And so in the work that Anna and I do, that's literally what we have to work through first and foremost, is we have a lot of different generations in one space that's trying to do collective work. And but even in that space, we are missing youth representation. What's up, Shardy? What's up,
Shardy Shard?
Shardy Shard. Oh, okay, all right. I'm learning the people's. Hey, good to see you. I don't think this is conducive to my ADHD.
Well, my premenopause memory lapse. I'm talking and I forget what I'm saying.
Hey, Mickey, I don't see how you do it.
It's easy. You're gonna get used to it.
Okay. Well, what's that say? There's definitely a gap. See,
my bad. I got it.
There's definitely a gap. I'm a boomer who has someone in the other groups. I am at a loss. Sometimes I feel it takes patience. Yes, it does.
It takes a lot of patience.
You ready like you was in the 3rd grade?
Yes, I do. I can't see nothing. These things ain't nothing but some reading glasses.
I'll read it for you. This Kobe.
Reading is fundamental, and we know
facts. Reading is hard. Kobe Fatty, aka Elizabeth P. Finney. She said there's definitely a gap. I'm a boomer who has someone in other groups. I'm at a loss.
They
Sometimes
just did.
I feel like it takes patience. That's all it is. But how can we get them together though? Hold on. This Miss Tia Harris, the lovely Tia Harris. I
There goes
know
another Aries, Tia Harris, April.
Okay, all right.
Goes
she
there
said,
another Aries
if
on
I
here.
can offer a general suggestion when it comes to the younger generation and older alike, I think actively listening to hear and understand would be a start. Listening is an art.
Hey Tia, you already halfway there. We ain't had to say much. You gotta bring people in the room and be willing
Yes.
to listen. Nobody wanna be talked to all the time. Hence why we doing just the thought. We ain't here to keep rapping to you. We here to keep rapping with you.
Oh,
And so, like when it comes to the youth, they want to feel included, and that means that you got to come outside of your generational box and get to know who they are and what they represent and what they care about. Prime example, we're here in this awesome studio, and you see all of this anime and stuff in the background, and old Gen Xer over here was like, "What is this?" And here I'm a millennial and I know exactly what it is, which made it easier for me to talk to the Gen Zer who's running this whole studio. But
Wow.
still, Gen Xer was catching up. So that is how we connected by educating each other and understanding that your era has now moved on into another one. And you need to get to know that particular era behind you. While our responsibility is being behind is to get to know the generation in front. It is a collective contract.
yes, it is.
Yeah.
I'll give you a little example. Me and Yogi G went out to eat, and my daughter was sitting at the table with Liana, and I was cracking up because her and Yolanda could understand they had their own language.
Absolutely.
I didn't understand anything that they were talking about.
Part of the Riz Nation.
And I kept saying, whoa, like,
she was looking like a deer headlights.
Yes.
Didn't
it was just how basically we're talking about how they communicate from each generation, even how Gen Alpha communicates totally different from Gen Z. And when I'm listening to it, the way I was raised kept coming into my head like, that is foolish. Stop saying that. And that is where the thought needs to be. How do we collaborate to understand without correcting? But
that's gonna
be in a place to understand.
I don't want.
Yeah,
I don't want
not all
to
Gen X.
I know
correct.
A10 don't play with you, so please
Yeah.
don't
But
hate me. I just got here.
in the times that I was raised. So my mother was a baby boomer. My grandparents were, what do they call, the silent generation. And we were raised, you don't say crap. Whatever happens in the house stays in the house.
Dangerous.
You do not say anything. You could have went through a lot of trauma, but you kept it. And then you come to my generation and we talked about it. We approached our families dead on, but we still felt you don't put it out there. Where the next generation has learned how to use social media to express the things that have been hidden.
Public group therapy.
Yes.
Yes.
And those are the conversations that we're going to be getting into with the differences in our generations. But understanding that we might not like in my generation that you put it on social media, but we have to listen to each other because I'm telling you, I'm not trying to be funny, but if we was to have a civil war, how will we talk to each other?
You don't think we already at civil war?
No, we might be at civil war on Saturday, starting tomorrow.
I need to tap you into my algorithm because it says we up in smoke. Algorithm is traumatizing.
Mickey, is the water cold over there?
Hold on, Mickey. Go ahead, hit us with give us our good narrative reading skills, Mickey. Mickey,
I'm gonna read it for y'all. I got it. Reading is hard. I got it. It's difficult for a generation raised on or told to revert docile, nonviolent protest to accept very vocal, unfiltered political discourse. We have to meet in the middle without being dismissive.
Man, Sonya.
This other one for y'all because I know y'all have a hard time. It's from the sister. I'm just messing with y'all, beautiful people. But also, you need to be open to hearing and understanding the youth. Some old folks are like brick walls. Now, y'all not speak to that, sisters.
You know, the image of the brick wall is literally the back of just a thought, and that right there was that right there was spot on what she just said. Casey
Yeah.
just said a brick wall. I know because I've been a brick wall to my own girls. I was
That was a breakthrough.
yes,
God is good for
I've been a
you.
brick wall because I'm like, just to give an example, quick thought. When I think about what's going on and I hear people, and this is just a thought, doesn't mean it's right or it's wrong. When I hear people say, I'm tired, I don't want to go out there, I don't want to fight. And I sit there and I see how I was raised, and we didn't have time to sit there and not fight. And we had to go out there and we had to deal with it. My mother actually sat in at places where they would throw stuff at her when she would, sit at the counters when you couldn't let people of color go in. My grandma went through it. Friends, my stepfather who raised me, Black American, raised me, went through it. But when I see the newer generation and I see them not doing what we did, I would get mad. And I'd be like, why? Why are we not getting up? Why are we not protesting? Why are we not? And reality set in, and I said, there's a time in the Bible says there's a time for everything. And right now is not the time. What I might think what I was raised for might be the time that I thought would be right now. But you have to really know who God is in this time. And when people are saying they're tired, there's a reason. I don't think people are just saying it. At first, the brick wall was there.
Yeah.
What do you mean you tired? You not getting up? You gonna let them do this to us? And when I say them, I'm not talking about white people. I'm talking about the people that want to oppress us. And it could be people that look like us that can oppress us. So when I'm talking about them, I am talking about the system that was made to oppress us. But I want you to click off on this because that is where, when she said that brick wall, that is when my brick wall broke because I said, I need to stop saying why y'all not doing it. It's a different time.
And speaking for the millennial generation, I appreciate you so much for having that aha moment because we are tired. And rightfully so. How many years Black people have been trying to get rights and listen to and everything like that? And like sometimes you just gotta sit back and let other people feel it and kick in and do something. And I'm not saying that people have it for years, historically, because I'm a history. I love history too. I know that we have collectively gotten together, but the thing I feel like the thing that was missing as to why you might have struggled with clicking over to the fact that we have to use rest as resilience is the fact that I feel like Gen Xers and Boomers didn't have to battle the Matrix. The Matrix being social media and being able to detach through movies and being able to detach through like reality shows and things like that. We got to regain our mind. The millennial generation and down and all the way down, we got to check back into reality. And that means that we got to sit in the fact that we do have a country that is on the brink of civil war, if not already actively in civil war. We have to sit with the fact that what are we going to do when we can't turn on the Kardashians to get away, or we can't Netflix and chill? Do you know how to plant some food in the back? Or if you got stuck in the forest somewhere because they done blew your house up, do you know what bird won't take you up out of here to yonder then? Like, we have to reset. So I think to make this touch point with the thing that we were talking about before, connecting the youth, setting it in that reality. Like, you can't be gentle about it. We're not in those times where we can fantasize and like romanticize what we're going through. And I think that will help the youth appreciate and understand the intentionality of why we're trying to get to know them, what they care about, reconnect them to the work, the things that we've been fighting for since the 19s, whatever, or the 17s, whatever, and then we can start making some real movement because, boy, I tell you, one thing for sure, two things for certain, we are definitely out organized currently. And we are about 20 shakes away from the border. Right now, if I can give you a visual, Indiana Jones.
Oh yeah.
He always running behind that goddamn boulder.
Yes.
That is us.
That is us.
That is us.
the illusion, we're pushing it back.
And we trying to teach people and encourage people to become a Barnum and Bailey, or we got Universal Soul Circus coming to the Harvest Zone, so we're gonna shout out Universal Soul Circus. We're trying to teach you how to up your skills in a Universal Soul Circus and become one with the boulder, not get run over by it. So yeah. We got somebody else. See, Mickey, I can read. DC gave me something in our little crummy educational spot. It says, I'm a vocal person that's definitely learned to control my volume with the elder. I want them to respect me in turn. That was from Deborah Luna. And then I also see, I be watching, right? The Bump, right? T from the D, what's up? I don't know you, girl, but they be shouting you out, so I just wanted to do it too. I see it in the comments. What's up, T from the D? All right, that was my moment. I'm done.
Yeah, I met T from the D. Amazing person. I met her last year around Memorial Day weekend. She came all the way from Detroit to meet me. I met Tia Harris. I met the great Jerry Winfrey Carter. I met pretty much every councilman, Tanya Burns. I met I can't remember his name, but I met pretty much B. Marie, Billy. I met her from Ethics and Accountability. And I'm actually coming on the 18th next week. I'll be there Wednesday. Later on towards the evening, I get there, and I will be there for Juneteenth in Flint, Michigan. And then from there, I'll be going to Jackson, Michigan, because they're having a huge celebration on the 21st. And a good friend of mine, want to congratulate her. She retired today from the EPA, and she is so happy. She retired today from EPA, and she is from Jackson, Michigan. And I'm going to spend some time in Jackson because I've never been there. But going back to what we were talking about with the generations and why I was saying with the tired, I think about what's at stake. When you think of to give like a, what is it, like the Libra with the balances.
Yeah.
Right here in DC, we have home rule, right? And if the powers that be, they're holding our money, $1.7 billion. And if we were to spend that money, so pretty much we had to take that money, put it up because we cannot use it. They have not put it back on the floor for us to get our money. If we were to use that money, we will pretty much go into emergency
Funds
management, where they take over.
Okay.
They take over. And so when I think of Flint, if money was mismanaged with the budget or anything, they will. I think it happened a long time ago. Mickey, correct me. It happened with the water issue. When they came and they had emergency management came and took over. That is what we're facing right here in DC right now. So we have to literally be careful with our budget. Thank God the mayor, I know you're not a fan, but thank God the mayor did not lay off. I would have been affected by it. She kept us all working. She had to make this decision like less than a couple weeks ago for us to keep working. But in that, who's affected is our children, especially our children that use Medicaid. They use TANF. They use any of these programs. We are literally going to, I'm going to give you an estimate, up to 25,000 people will face not having access to Medicaid. And what does that do for kids that are on the spectrum or need special assistance or anything that Medicaid pays for? If those families are taken off of there, they will not get the help. So when going back to what we're dealing with here, we were talking about the Civil War, but I also think about if they took over DC, what would happen to the native Washingtonian? Because that's what Yogi G, she is literally a native Washingtonian. They call me, I've been here 30 years, but they call us, what they call us?
Transplants.
Transient. I'm originally from New Jersey. Born and raised in New Jersey. I came to DC when I was When did I come to DC? I think I was 19 years old. So I went to school all through New Jersey, but from 19 all the way until now, and I'm 49, I have been living in the nation's capital. So when the native Washingtonian is younger than me, and I've been here longer than them, I've been like, I know more than you do.
Oh, you just had to flip that one in.
Flip it in, right?
Oh, all right. Okay. I'm going to just smile and look.
So I could still be an outsider in the nation's capital, depending on who's in the room.
Hey, man, listen, let me defend myself. Once again, I know where I'm at. I know I'm on 810, so y'all ain't going to barbecue me on the first day. I am not anti-transient. I am simply saying that when you come into a city and there are people who have had to be educated and provided for by that city or state, they are now the expert witness in atrocities. And that's all we try to remind people of. You ain't get rid of us completely. There's still of us some native Washingtonian unicorns happening out here. And yeah, we angry. The same reason you about to be angry too, because you realize that we in a city that got taxation without representation.
Yes.
It is literally on our licenses and our bumper stickers. We ain't got no say. We got a representative that they just look at like a piece of the wall furniture. So when we say we out here in the District of Columbia, a tale of two cities would best describe it. You have the nation's capital, you have the Washingtonian experience, and then you have the good old District of Columbia experience. And I could tell you this, be lucky that you can get on your bus and leave. Because, man, we are struggling around here. Our youth are having a moment, and they don't know how to be listened to. So they out here making us fearful to even go through the streets Monday through Sunday. And that doesn't mean that we don't have great, wonderful activists, youth that are community engaged, but we got a lot more, as we say out here, YN activities than we would like out here in these DC streets. And we got a system, a mayoral system that is just as corrupt as what I see you dealing with in Flint. So we are generally here because we want to help us see each other, whether you are in the 202 or the 810. We are all trying to fight to have the rights that they came up with in that Constitution and the amendments down the line that said all men and women, it, they, them, she, and all the other pronouns are created equal as long as they are under the banner of that red, white, and blue. That's it. That's really what we hope to achieve by bringing the mic to the people. And then also another thing is that we realize that a lot of people don't have time and are tired, but their story needs to be told. So since this feisty Puerto Rican and this DC native got a little time and we about all the smoke, we gonna get out there and bring the mic to the folks.
Yes, and you won't always see us sitting. You'll see us with different people. And of course, we're always open. When people want to put in the chat,
put it in
somebody
the chat.
somewhere you might want us to go to in DC. You might know DC. You might be like, well, can y'all go to this place because I've never been there and I can't travel right now.
Now we not influencers, but we will take requests per a nice GoFundMe. I know that's a thing. So if you want us to go to something ritzy out here, because it's expensive in these DC streets, we will happily go there as long as it's being funded. But if it's a federal space or a district place, we got you.
Yes. We actually, when we did our opening thing, we were at what's the name of the museum?
The Advocacy Smithsonian African Museum.
Yeah, African Museum. Yeah. And so the shirt I have on is a black owned. What is it? B-O.
Black owned business.
What's the acronyms?
B-O-B.
B-O-B. Girl, I told you I'll be having my senior moment. This is a store in Southeast Museum, and I got the shirt from there. And the concept and the creative thought behind the shirt is why I love to patronize Black-owned businesses or brown businesses or anyone that is a mom and pop store. Because small businesses need love too. So on that note, just remember, you don't always have to go to Target, Walmart. You don't always have to go to Amazon. You can start looking at your small, even in your area, small chain stores to buy your goods. And you need to represent. Mickey, have y'all gotten any new attire for 810? Any new cups? Any new mugs?
No, we're gonna be getting back to that. Give me probably about in either end of July, early August. We'll get back on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you still buy shirts right now on
You know what? I'm not for sure. Just give me a couple weeks. I'll have that for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, just want to put a shout out because I think I own like 810 News Media Group shirts that I love. I think I got every color. I got a red, a blue, a green, every color you could think of. And I love when you have things that are different from others.
Mm-hmm.
So this weekend, can you talk about what we did this past weekend? It was amazing to see Yogi G interviewing Native Washingtonians in a store that we just opened, and it was amazing. Can you talk a little bit about the experience from this store, what it meant?
Yeah, I'd love to. But T from the D got a little question for us right quick, so we want to make sure we honor that. Yogi G, can you explain some of the challenges that you have experienced with organizing, and can you give some examples of what you have organized? Oh man, okay. So some of the challenges that I have experienced, we spoke to originally, which is that generational divide, because we need, in order to have collective power, you got to honor collective voice. And a lot of times, we have to spend most of our time helping people get outside of their box and to recognize their, so I told you this thing will mess with my ADHD. And we got to recognize how we can help the people see that one issue that you may have never thought impacted you could potentially impact you or may already be impacting you. It just hasn't been said in the way that you recognize it. So helping to educate the people has been the longest part of it. Some things that I've had the honor of working alongside on organizing is we talk about budget transparency in the District of Columbia, because we needed to know as the people who were receiving services, where was the money going. So we love following money trails around here in DC. We do a lot of educational advocacy here. Anna and I specifically, we work with an organization that is centered around bringing in parent voice and amplifying that, and introducing us to the people in power. And then I do special education supports. I am the executive director of a nonprofit that helps families who are caregivers of children in the disability space, as that is my own story, being a caregiver of a child with a disability. So I hope, T from the D, that answered your question.
You able to see the chat? I don't know.
Nikki, you still there? Well,
What'd you say?
I was asking, were you still there, sir?
Yeah. I ain't with nowhere. I'm just taking a phone call on that.
Someone else posted.
Sonia had posted something. I was wondering if you could throw it up for us.
I got you. Want me to read it for you?
Oh, go ahead, brother. I love it.
She said, I live in Moco. I don't know what that
means. Oh, Montgomery County.
That's Moe County.
Got you. She said, do you foresee sponsoring or intergenerational freedom summer style workshops in this area?
Oh man, anything's possible. You know, if the work is there and the resources are there to do the work, it can be done. That sounds like an amazing idea, Sonia. And if you want to send a little more detail or thoughts to the chat, or send it to the DMs, we'd like to talk to you more about that. Oh, Tia Harris, my apologies, Tia. Okay, all right. I'm learning. Once again, hands up. I come in peace.
You know we can't see.
No, you can't see.
You can't see.
I can see.
Look at right here. Say.
I just didn't know that was a T from the D. I got excited about being able to say it again, but it was Tia. So my apologies.
Oh, you're saying the last one. That was Tia.
See, didn't we just talk about the generational divide, and there go the Gen Xers trying to correct me. I know what I said, and I said what I said. All right, listen. So we had 754, right? And like I said, we promise we won't be before the church long. We are so happy to be here and y'all joining us on our meet and greet for Just a Thought, and super excited to bring the mic to the people as it should be. And so I think it only right that we end on this and give a little thought towards this. So I came across this quote on Instagram, and it says, resistance can also go beyond marches and rallies. Resistance can also look like restocking your community fridge, volunteering at a feeding center, donating new items to shelters, participating in a neighborhood cleanup, paying off school lunch debt, offering your professional services pro bono, supporting your local library, attending your community meetings, school board meetings, or council meetings, supporting community actions, supporting mutual aid regularly. Community care is how we win. And the reason that I thought that was important to end off of is that in our line of work and joy of organizing and advocating, it takes everyone to make it move. Even our country wasn't started on the solo act. So every little contribution that you can make in your capacity makes us move. As long as collective, it makes us move stronger and we become a force to be reckoned with. I think that a lot of people, I said today, right? My grandmother is from the South, the further South than DC, because DC is still below the Mason Dixon. So surprise, we're Southerners. If you didn't know, and she would often say, and I do have Native American indigenous, so I can say this, right? Too many chiefs, not enough Indians, right? And that simply means that there are a lot of people who want to be seen and want to be heard and get their street cred, but they don't want to touch the streets. But it's the people who touch the streets and are actually going into community and communing in a healthy way that are making the movement. So you got any thoughts towards that on before we say goodnight to the peoples?
Oh, you summed it up.
Did I really?
You did. I'm just excited because this is our first time for us to do this
Off the cuff.
off the cuff, literally off the cuff. And I'm hearing just right here. The thought is how our dialects, how we articulate, how we introduce ourselves, how we come to our spaces, and how we can learn each other, even in this, even though we know each other outside of this, we will start to learn each other even more. And that's a thought that you can take back to yourself. When you're around someone, do you really know them truly? Have you really had a real conversation with them? And that's what this is, a real conversation, nothing planned, some of it, because you do have to have some research. You can't go out there willy nilly just saying anything.
Yeah, we got some structure coming.
We got to structure some things, and eventually we will have a number you can call in. But this is a space for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
For everyone. We will have our white sisters here, our white brothers here. We will have our brown brothers, our brown sisters, our black sisters, our black brothers, our Indian, Asian, everyone.
I'm getting ready to start selling my fish dinner so I can get me a bus ticket so I can go ride with Ana and check out A10 and come see Mickey in person. You know, we got some things to discuss. Because I don't know why the smoke came out first thing. I'm just meeting them. But, you know, I guess that's how A10 greets people. So I feel welcome. You know what I mean?
Mickey gave her the greeting of all greetings. He let her know,
I was like,
you
damn.
get no special treatment when you meet me.
I was here on time. I was here on time. So where I get the smokes? Anywho, we did learn something today, and we'd be remiss if we didn't share that Juneteenth information as it is specific to Flint.
Yes, I am so glad you gave me that. So I can't say who gave me the information because they told me don't say my name. And did not know that Juneteenth has been celebrated for over 50 years in Flint, Michigan.
Mm.
And Mickey, do you know who the person is that started Juneteenth in Flint, Michigan?
Mother Deloney.
Yes, Dr. Deloney. So I will be there on Juneteenth, and I just want to know if anyone knew that. That's like a history thing that I learned today from a lovely friend of mine that is a historian in Flint, Michigan, and she wanted to give a shout out to Dr. Deloney. Am I saying it right, Dr. Deloney? and the contributions for the last 50 years given to Flint for Juneteenth. So Mickey, it is 7:59. We are really.
We got one more question if we got
Oh.
time. Mickey, I'm gonna let you, if we can tell her we can bring it on the next show. You tell us what to do.
Hey, y'all go ahead and ask y'all a question. We can close it out.
Well, it's not our question, it's from the chat.
No, that's what I'm saying. You can answer the question.
Oh,
okay.
Okay, so this is from Pastor Nicholas. How do I say it? Because this sounds like one of your regulars, Mickey, is Gattis. Am I saying that correctly? I don't want to get fried.
Yeah, you saying the right Gaddis.
Okay,
Pastor
Gaddis.
Nicholas J. Gaddis.
All right, you want to read it?
I can't see.
Oh, damn it. Okay, sisters, how should we do all we can to reach the youth of this generation? I'm going to let you go ahead, Lana.
She said, sisters, how should we all I got to read it again.
Okay, all right.
You know, come on, you get 49 and all that clicks in.
I ain't did yet.
So all youth of generation. So the question is those who have this one's kind of hard for me to answer that. And it's not that I don't have an answer, but remember, I'm not trying to give you an answer. I want to give you a thought on that.
Words.
So I'm going to pass it to you.
Okay, I'm ready to go.
I'm going to pass it to you to answer it so I can make sure my thought is right so they don't think that that's how I think. It's a thought on how to answer this.
I don't know the difference, but I also am re-educating myself, so maybe I'll figure it out along the way. So my response to that is meet them where they are. And that means if they at they like to roller skate, you can host something there. They at the movies, they got rooms you can rent. You can start offering like raffles or a meet and greet or a meetup and conversation. You got to meet them in the spaces they love to be at. You can't keep trying to bring them to where you are. The days of you dragging your children to church are over for community members. Like, seriously, like in civil rights time, they didn't have a say. A lot of parents not bringing their kids everywhere that they go right now. So how you going to reach the next generation? Go where they are. Start familiarizing yourself with how they talk to each other so you can learn how to communicate or at least understand. You ain't got to talk like them, but you got to understand what they're saying to you. So start doing that work. And then also just get to know who they look up to. Everybody got somebody that they follow. It is an influencing kind of thing these days. And so just, set your mindset to get to know the people behind you as well as you getting to know the people in front of you. That's what you should do. I feel like those are first steps for me.
For me, I will say a thought of how I feel to reach the youth. Transparency. Don't always, because I grew up, you don't say anything. Don't always think because of your trauma and your thing that your child, if they knew what you went through, that they would repeat the same thing. So I will say it's okay to share, but share when it's the right time to share, the right space, the right, without judgment. There's times I went through with my own 15-year-old daughter, and I had to learn you have to find that right person that you can talk to calm yourself down before you approach the youth with your opinion and your judgment, because that's how it comes across to them. They hear blah, 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 blah. And so for me, the way I felt I reached the next generation is let a man examine himself. So I am starting to examine myself, how I come into the space that I don't agree with. And that's how I am trying to go forward with youth. My judgment is out. I've examined myself and I made sure that it's not I in the conversation when I'm speaking to them.
Yeah, speak from a place of I. I'm glad you said that. Last thing, because I know we got to wrap it up. When y'all Generation X's and millennials out here trying to reach these youth, don't be out there trying to preach to them. Speak from a place of I. It's safer that way. Say, I feel, I heard, I accept. And that might get you a little closer. It helps me with my kids, So, I think we up on time. We 4 minutes over. I love the energy that we had. Mickey, thanks for holding us down. You are really the super producer. We're going to have to start coming up with a name for you, too. Don't forget, the theme of this whole conversation, of this meet and greet and off the cuff conversation, was one band, one sound. While we may not be from 810, we are definitely experiencing all the things that you are, and we're here to do the collective work and just make sure that we bringing the mic to the people so that we can increase numbers across the states. Um, this ain't just our podcast, it's yours too. We want your thoughts in this rhythm, and your voice is the missing piece. And we can't do it without you. There is no show without you in the chat, without you in the DMs, and without you in the street talk. And who knows? Maybe we'll get to 810 and we can come and talk to the people in Flint and bring y'all in like that. So for me, it's a good night, and I'm signing off. Good people, stay safe. Enjoy your weekend, and I look forward to catching up on next Friday at 7 p.m. on 810.
Peace, family, and I love y'all.
Peace.